Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Back to Paranormal Now. I'm your host, Alan B. Smith, and tonight we have something a little bit different for you. Normally, yes, we're talking about aliens and ghosts and the paranormal in general, but we do a little bit of everything, and tonight we're doing Star Wars, particularly the history of the Jedi as our focus, but it's open game. We've got 3 great guests. I'm going to introduce them in just a moment, but before I do that, I'm going to play this for you.
Light. Darkness. A balance. It's so much bigger.
One truth. It's time for the Jedi to end.
And that was the trailer for The Last Jedi. Man, every time I listen to that on my headset, that gives me goosebumps, I swear. Because listening to that on amazing... Oh my, yeah, it's one of the best experiences I've had as far as trailers go. Seriously, hands down. Before we get get too excited, let me introduce the guests that I have on tonight, which I just realized we're all actors. So that was totally not my intention, but here we are.
God.
So it's true story. I know, a bunch of actors hanging out together. Who knows what's going to happen? So I'm welcoming onto the show. I've got Camille-Betina Atkinson. I've got Drew Gregory, and I have Mac Barnes. Mac Barnes has actually been on Epic Voyages Radio, the other program that I do on the Inception Radio Network, and he is an encyclopedia of Star Wars. So let's start with Camille. You want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I'm an irrepressible performer type. I've been I've been all over the place, mainly the French Quarter in New York, working and performing. I grew up in New Orleans, and I've been in New York City for 22 years. I do the things that you do when you're a performer, the voiceovers, the tap dancing, and everything in between. The first time I saw Star Wars, I was 18 months old. My mom said it was fine until you wanted me to sit through it a second time because I had to hold the seat down so you wouldn't get flopped up into it. So that's how my obsession with Star Wars got started. I was still in diapers.
Okay, cool. And Andrew, Drew Gregory, as you are better known. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have a lot of names. Alan.
You do.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. So, yeah, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, Alan and I have known each other quite some time. We used to mess around back at the Tashi station.
Mm-hmm. This is the
way
romance
back
story.
when.
And anyway, so Andrew and I, we've met.
We go way back.
Become friends many a year in the New York City, exactly. Andrew is also a fast friend of the Star Wars franchise. Maybe we
It's been
won't
around
talk
me my
about
entire
episodes.
life.
Yeah, maybe we won't talk too much about episodes 1, 2, and 3, but I think we kind of have to. Some of us are okay with it. Some of us were not cool with those first 3. I'm pretty sure Mac was. So Mac, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hey everybody. It's great to be on this show. As Alan already said, I've been on his show before and we've always had a great time. I know a good bit about Star Wars. I think it's a little much to call me an encyclopedia though, but I do pay attention to all mediums in which Star Wars can be learned. I collect all the comic books from the now canonized version from what happened in April 2014. All the way to the current day. I have every canon comic book. I have all the movies. Watched them each probably 50 times each, including Rogue One, even though it's been out less than a year. And pretty much I just pay attention to everything Star Wars every day. One of the first things I do after I brush my teeth is type in Star Wars on Google and then just hit the news tab just to see if anything's changed in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, and as of late, was there anything in particular that caught your eye?
I thought it was pretty funny that I caught the behind the scenes video that Star Wars posted on their YouTube channel. I caught it before I have my notifications or like the little bell on YouTube set for Star Wars just in case anything they post I get the notification. And I actually saw on there that the video was posted before the bell even gave me the notification. So I saw it. What I'm thinking is probably before the notification was sent out, which means I was probably one of the first people to see it.
That's dedication.
So you probably
right
just
there.
typed it in. Yeah. I mean, it's like you typed it in right after it was released, essentially. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm sorry, Alan. Did you say that Mac actually he enjoys the prequel trilogy? Did you say that? Is that what I heard?
Mac, why don't you tell us? Mac, why don't you tell us your story?
I love the prequel trilogy.
Well,
I get a lot of flack for that, and you want to know why I love it?
Why do you love it?
When I saw Episode 4, I was 2, and it blew my mind.
Okay.
And when I saw Episode 1, I had a 4-year-old next to me. It was the same experience. Yes, It was a little goony. Yes, it was a little put together. Yes, Jar Jar, whatever. But
Jar Jar's actually my favorite character from the prequel.
Yes,
he's the only character I'll defend.
We know he's a Jamaican. We all know that Jar Jar is a Jamaican, and that's what makes it okay. But I love the story. My favorite thing about this whole thing is that I've been watching this story since I was tiny, like watching these characters grow and trying so hard to apply those lessons to my messed up life. All of our lives are messed up. We're all fighting a battle.
Yeah.
You know, and so the first few episodes, they were messed up because guess who else was fighting a battle? George Lucas. Ultimately fallible.
Don't miss that guy.
I have to agree, Andrew. And Andrew, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but I have been a little more forgiving, but not episode 2. I am sorry. I have so many problems with episode 2, but episode 1 and episode 3, I've grown to like, again, with the exception of Jar Jar Binks. But then, if I was a kid, maybe I would have loved it.
Yeah, sure.
But I actually was.
Jar Jar's actually pretty dope, man. Like Jar Jar in the Clone Wars, he plays a big role. He plays a real pivotal role, man.
Exactly.
I love Jar Jar.
Yep.
And I love 3. God, 3. Huh. 3 is
I
so
cannot
good.
agree with that at all.
I love it.
So, Mac, what about
And
yourself? Because I know you were
just
pretty young
great,
when. Mac, you were pretty young when 1, 2, and 3 came out, right?
I'm 97, so I'm 19 years of age, almost 20 in October. So I'm definitely the youngest person right now on this.
Yes, I could be your
definitely
role.
are.
So, all right, hold on a second. So I knew that he would definitely be the strongest with the Force. I knew this after just like the little pregame business. Now, I put him somewhere. He's probably the Jedi. Mac's definitely the Jedi Master of the group. You and I are somewhere probably around Jedi Knight. Now, Camille, I don't know too much about like where you're at with this. I think you're at least a Padawan learner. I have a couple questions for you real quick. I just want to. A lot of these can be interpreted anyway. I just want to know how you answer them.
It's a tremendous underestimation of my power.
All right, so here we go.
Andrew, go ahead. Yeah, ask your questions, and we'll see.
All right, so number 1, who shot first?
In the original hand, in the remake, fuckface. Sorry, I said I wasn't gonna swear, but that's what it is.
What's your answer? What's your final answer? I need one answer. One answer will.
Well, mine's Greedo.
Okay. How about you, Mac? What do you say?
Well, see, this is where
Explanation. I just need an answer. Your answer will explains volumes.
it's got to be Greedo.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Do you know why? Do you know why I say that?
So you all say
Why?
Greedo?
Yeah. But
Okay.
no. But I didn't say just Greedo. I said in one version Han, and in the other version Greedo. And the
Which is
reason for that is, and this is my theory, it is a sound editing error from the reboot.
You think
I
so?
mean,
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard that before.
yeah.
uh,
People are like, why did he do it? I'm like, maybe he didn't do it on purpose. There's so much he didn't do on purpose that happened.
Okay. Well, I know we're doing this for a lot of like Star Wars geek fans.
Yeah.
I think you might be doing something with this.
Well, Andrew,
I
let's
don't
just hold
know.
on. Just hold on one sec, guys. Because even though a lot of Star Wars geek fans are going to be listening to this, let's just remind ourselves that there are going to be some people who are not hardcore fans listening to this as well. So, the scene we're talking about, Andrew, do you want to set the stage for that?
Yeah, so basically, in the original movies, the original films, there's a scene in the Mos Eisley Cantina where Han Solo is confronted by Greedo. It's when he puts him down at the table, and he basically tells him the same thing that Jabba the Hutt tells him in the later added scene. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, in the original film, which is how I always saw it growing up, Han Solo outdraws Greedo and he shoots him first. But when the special edition came around in the 90s, 97 is it, I think, Mac? Can I get a call on that?
I believe so, and then I think they redid it again in 04.
Yeah, so when the special edition came around, George added a lot of special effects and visual effects to enhance some of the scenes. Like Mos Eisley looked more like a city, which was kind of cool. Same thing with like Bespin and Empire Strikes Back. But anyway, he changed the scene with Han and Greedo to make Greedo shoot first. And like it doesn't even look right on film. Like you can clearly tell that it's been edited and it just looks terrible. And I feel like it completely changes the whole principle of the character. So I've never been a fan of that.
I agree.
Yeah, Mac, what's your take on it then?
What, on the bar scene, the cantina scene?
Yeah, I mean, Camille made a good point. It could have been an editing problem because Andrew even. Yeah, I mean, Andrew said it looked sloppy, so it does make me wonder: was it initially a major mistake?
I don't know if it was a mistake. I think that he probably wanted it.
It wasn't a mistake. George messed up.
I think if you get a second go round, what he wanted to do was he wanted to portray Han less of the jerk type, even though he was kind of a jerk. But he was an anti-hero. Right. So he was supposed to stay that way, even though I do disagree with him redoing it, making Greedo shoot first, I can see why he did it from a love of the original triad of main characters for that perspective, because then it makes Han Solo look like he's more defending himself, but he still does it. And I mean, they didn't take away the coin flip at the end, or the credit flip. If you watch that after he blasts him, I mean, he still walks over to the bar and flips a coin to the bartender, so he's still a badass. I mean, whether you're the first one to shoot or not, he's still awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like the original cut better.
Well, can I say something?
I have to agree.
Yeah, go ahead, Camille.
Okay. All right, so what I was going to say is that whole scene at the Mos Eisley, I love that song, right? You could see that on repeat forever. Right? That he goes in, there's swinging doors. It's a saloon, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a saloon, right? So we have our American mythology, which is the Wild West, and we've transported it into space, which is our fantasy for the future. And they're using motifs and gestures and atmosphere to try and invoke something that we're familiar with in the story of the Old West. And it's about who shoots first. It's about who's the fastest draw. And that's not always ethical. That's not always ethical in the Wild West. The heroes from the Wild West are the bad guys. And I'm a Xena fan. I really like seeing people get stabbed in the heart.
But did you say like Xena Warrior Princess?
Yes.
Can I hear a Xena call?
I'm not the only one.
Not anymore. That's how I met my ex-wife.
So Andrew,
You're just like in the original, Han's dead to rights, man. Like Greedo's got him dead to rights. Greedo's gonna kill him. So sneakily under the table, he undoes his blaster from his holster, and then he blasts Greedo under the table. It was very slick. It was very sly, and I think it plays out a lot better than what they did in Special Edition.
Agreed.
Well, the only thing I'll
I really don't think Greedo shooting him first makes Han like more or less of a better of a character, or a better person. I think it was very silly.
I maintain that most conspiracy theories don't pan out. And the main reason is people are just too stupid to get that kind of thought process going. We're not. I can't even remember to do the dishes before I go to bed. So, I think that somebody was in the editing room and they're doing this whole reboot, and this is a moment, and it gets out. It causes a controversy, which creates publicity.
I mean, maybe because I think there might be some credence to that, only because if you're like some people who criticize the first films and the oversights, the storyline oversights that were in the films, it's like if there were other storyline oversights, why wouldn't there be an editing oversight? Especially because George Lucas is one man, running in an empire. So I wouldn't.
He needed to split the work. I'm so glad he sold the rights. It was the best thing for everyone.
I think that was a good idea. It was a good idea.
It really was.
I'm going to say this one thing on the topic, and then we've got to move on. We'll talk about the Jedis a little bit more.
Okay.
But yeah, I think personally that, like Andrew said, him being more sly and pulling the trigger first is not because I never saw it. And he's a murderer or he's a bad person. I saw as he knew exactly what that guy was going to do right before he did it. So he shot first because he knew that guy was going to kill him. I think that's just as fair as sticking up your gun and in reaction to someone raising their gun. But it's a movie, so I think it's fair. I think it works.
That's true.
Yeah.
Both of them are true, but we know, you and I know, and the people who got onto the film when it was just that film, that was only film, we knew Han was a good guy, and we saw that, and we knew what happened. And you can't take that away from us.
He shot first in self-defense.
You can't argue about it forever. If it's your imagination, okay.
True story. It was our experience, and then other people had different experience, and that's just the way it is. We can't change other people's experiences just because we think ours is better. So, okay, moving on. Let's talk about this trailer, The Last Jedi official trailer. Let's start with Mac. I want to get like your overall take on what you got out of the trailer.
Well, I wish we were talking about it while we were watching it. Because there's so many things that you just don't think about once the actual visual aspect of what you're analyzing is over. So, I mean, just things off the top of my head. I think that landscape shot where Rey is like, it looks like she's just swinging the lightsaber, but you know she's got to be training. But that looks really cool. I'm interested about that, and all the dialogue from Luke throughout the entire trailer, where he's asking her what she feels and to reach out and things like that. I can't wait to see him mentor her in the movie, because you know that's going to happen plenty.
Sure. Well, if any of you guys, if any of you guys want to watch it while we're talking, that's fine. Just turn the volume down on the YouTube, and then we're good. So okay, I think that's a good start. Camille, what do you think?
Oh my God, the way that these last couple of films have rolled out has just been so amazing. And this one is not like, oh my God, it's not disappointing me on any level. I love where this story has gone, and the visuals, just like you said, the visuals are just so, like, you could eat them. They're like steak. They're so good.
Yeah, okay. And
the cinematography,
Drew, what do you think?
I like steak a lot.
Oh, baby.
Is this steak for you, Drew?
Oh my goodness, yes. I definitely consume Star Wars more than I do steak on a yearly basis. That's
sure. Healthier. That's definitely healthier for you.
It certainly is. I don't want to end up like John Wayne. We don't know how that ended.
What happened with John Wayne?
Google that shit.
All right. I mean, look, I know we're all cool.
All right, the trailer is
just try
great.
to watch the languages, guys.
I apologize.
I'm trying.
I did stop. If you play it back, you'll hear that I stopped at midway. I apologize for all the kids at home. I know this is a family show.
Kids. Oh, boy.
But yeah, the trailer is great. I really think that clearly something bad's gonna go down. Like they're teasing it. They're teasing it. They're really teasing us. And
yeah, I feel that too.
They're following the same formula as the original, the Holy Trilogy. They're following that org.
That's the best.
Yeah, so that was my only gripe with the first one. I'm sorry, 7. The Force. What is it? What is it?
Force Awakens.
Yeah, the Force Awakens. Thank you. It was too close to A New Hope. A New Hope is my favorite, and I love it, and I understand it's kind of like a remake in sorts, but it was just it followed us too closely. It followed a little too close. But as we know, okay, so I'm gonna bring up something really quickly. So when I was younger, I read Nintendo Power because that's how cool of a kid I was.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, it was a magazine. It was amazing. And
oh my God.
When there was a series of Star Wars games that came out for Super Nintendo that were really awesome. They were really good, and they came out like every 2 years, kind of the way the films did. Maybe it was a little bit sooner. Maybe it was a year. I don't recall. But anyway, there was a promo for Return of the Jedi, the game on Super Nintendo, and I'll never forget the promo. It said something like this. It's not an exact quote, but it said something like, "The first time we won, the second time they won. This time there won't be a next time." And I always thought that was like really awesome. Like that pretty much sums up the Holy Trilogy. It sums it up very well. And I feel that 7, 8, and 9 are going to follow suit. We know Empire Strikes Back, like a lot, the Empire wins, man. Like things go down. I feel The Last Jedi is going to be the same way.
It's such a good story, and they are very similar. But I thought of something when I was watching the trailer, and I saw the Wonder Woman movie, and I liked it very much. And this is not a discussion of the Wonder Woman movie, I hope. But
still haven't seen it. Reserve judgment.
Yes. The whole promo, that whole trailer, summed up the entire film of Wonder Woman in 2 minutes and 38 seconds. It was the whole film, pretty much. It was amazing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to see Wonder Woman. You saw this trailer. It's much better.
It's really funny you said that, because, and I know it's not totally true, but after watching this trailer, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite Star Wars trailer so far. I almost don't want the movie to come out because I'm afraid it won't be as good as the trailer. Because this thing gave me goosebumps up and down, man. Like, and when I put when I play it on my good headphones, it John Williams just blows me away with his music.
No.
So we only
God bless
so
John Williams.
Well, the score is.
Yes.
It definitely has to be.
Yeah, I
It
guess
has to be John
I don't
Williams.
agree. I don't agree with his extracurriculars. I apologize to anyone that he may have hurt.
What?
Oh, I don't know about that. Wait. Okay, what are the extracurriculars?
That's a whole other show. Anyway, okay, well, just to go along with the trailer, can we discuss the behind the scenes that came out this recently on D23? Just to go along with the trailer, there's a couple quotes he said that there's going to be something shocking and it's very real.
Uh-huh.
And they talk about Ryan Johnson, the director, and it's going to be very shocking. There's something very shocking going to happen. They promise something very shocking. Now, the way I understand it, when Empire Strikes Back came out, back in 1980, when that big reveal that when Vader tells Luke that he's his father, that was, that's part of cinema history, and it's on many lists and like one of the top 5 moments in cinema history. So many people were not expecting that, and it completely captivated audiences. I have a feeling we're going to see something of that magnitude go down in Last Jedi.
Some people have already
saying the right title is
speculated.
The Last Jedi?
Yeah, The Last Jedi. Yeah, but I guess some people have speculated Luke has had a child, and maybe Rey is that child. Is that possible?
Yeah.
I kind of think that Rey or Luke are going to go bad. I have a feeling that one of them is going to either switch over to the dark side, or.
Oh my God.
Oh
Rey,
God, man! Don't tell me that.
That's kind of what I kind of feeling that. I kind of have that feeling.
Oh my God.
Okay, well.
So cool.
Well, I know. Mark Hamill. I was watching an interview.
I'm a Darksaber person. I'm sorry. Just like badasses.
Darksaber?
I'm a
Dark
goth.
Energy Saber?
Yeah, I'm a goth. Okay.
What's your favorite? What Jedi has the favorite lightsaber? Like what design lightsaber is your favorite? Do you have one?
Oh my God.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking everyone. I guess Camille first because she brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the classic green or blue seem like your standard your standard 34. You know what I mean? It looks really reliable.
But I mean, are there any like Jedi, like if they all have their own design, is there anyone that like you thought was cooler than the others? I always thought Darth Maul's was pretty bad.
Yes, I know. I've tried the Darth Maul lightsaber. I'm 5 foot tall, so it really doesn't work for me.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. I did try.
Mac, Mac, we can talk about your lightsaber as well, but I do want to hear what you have to what your theory is about Luke and what this big surprise might be.
Me? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Something shocking and real.
I have like an intense theory that is no joke, like 3 minutes long. But it would take
we
the
want to
entire 3
listen.
minutes for me to
Go.
hear or
Let's
for me
hear
to
it.
tell you this.
Okay.
It is,
Okay,
Mac.
here.
Okay.
Let's do this, Mac. Wait, hold on, Mac. We'll do that when we come back from the break. I have a minute. Can you describe to me your favorite lightsaber and why before we come back?
My favorite lightsaber is honestly probably Mace Windu's. Not for the color, how most people would think so.
The rounded handle, like the circular rounds, like the multiples. It's pretty dope. I agree. That's a good answer. That's a good answer, Mac. That's a good
close,
Is that-
but
Is that what it is?
that's close.
Wait, let Mac finish.
Go ahead.
It's cool that it's purple and it's cool that it's circular and it's got a good grip and like just the symmetry of the lightsaber. But really the coolest part to me is that one thing that Darth Sidious and Mace Windu's lightsabers have in common is that the lightsaber is finished with an element called electrum, and electrum is for senior members of the Jedi Council only, and it has like lightsabers can't cut through it. So his lightsaber can't be cut through like we've seen many lightsabers throughout.
It can't be cut through? What do you mean?
No, like if you take another lightsaber and try to cut through the hilt of his blade, or through his lightsaber, you can't cut through it because electrum is one of the few elements in the Star Wars world that is immune to lightsaber clashes.
Oh, you're talking about the handle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't know that. Yo, you're definitely the Jedi Master, Mac. for sure.
Thanks.
All right, cool. Well, let's hold it there. So when we come back after this first very short break, we are going to dive in deep, and we'll try not to run astray. We'll dive in deep into what is going on with Luke Skywalker and his new outlook on the Force. And what will this groundbreaking news be? I'll be right back after this break. This is Alan B. Smith for Paranormal Now on the Inception Radio Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and...
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again. Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
And welcome back to Paranormal Now. I'm Alan B. Smith, your host on the Inception Radio Network. While this is a podcast, we are part of a live stream every Saturday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to find out more about us, just go to Paranormal Now Radio on Facebook or on Instagram at Paranormal Now. And of course, anytime you're listening to the Inception Radio Network, if you do not have internet connection and you are desperate to listen to our station and get your paranormal fix, you can always call 401-283-6700, and you can listen live to the stream 24/7. Also, other ways to listen to the show: Live 365, Stitcher Radio, Nobex Radio, TuneIn, iTunes Radio, Streama, Shoutcast, Winamp, Win Media Player, and QuickTime, and of course on Roku. Okay, so we left it off with our speculations of Luke Skywalker and some amazing turn or catastrophic turn of event in the storyline. So, Mac, I want to get your point of view on what you suspect based on this trailer, what you think is going to happen to Luke Skywalker.
Honestly, I think it's going to be something that's less surprising about the actual story and the progression of the character development and the way we find out about Rey's parenting. I think it's going to be more like something like either Luke has turned to the dark side, or Luke is like sick and he's like on the verge of death. Like he has
that makes sense. Oh, I like that theory.
You think he might have turned to the dark side, but I do wonder, because in the trailer we see that shot of something like a papyrus or an old script from like an ancient Jedi library, we would assume.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think that maybe Luke was actually spending more time digging into the past and learning things that even Yoda didn't pass on to him.
He's seen some things. Luke has seen some things.
I mean, do you think that that's where his backstory was? That he was scouring the galaxy to find out as much as he can about the Jedi?
Well, I know for a fact it was because, like I said before, I collect all the comic books, and I can't tell you exactly which issue or even which book because I have probably over 100 since.
It's okay. We believe you. We believe you.
But he has revisited the original Jedi Temple a few times and went into like secret like safes and places that not even Darth Sidious knew about when he changed the Jedi Temple over to like his main Coruscant office. So he's taken a few books and like relics and things like that to further his Force education, I guess you would say.
And I guess when I saw the symbol on there that, actually the symbol reminded me of the original Star Wars poster with Luke when he has his arms up and the lightsaber.
Yeah, it does. It totally does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Good looks on that.
So I was reading about the history of the Jedi, and before there was the Jedi, there was the Jedi Order. Jedi. Do you guys know anything about these guys? Yeah, it's
Indeed, I do.
The Jedi.
You do?
They were on an island called Jahab or something like that. Sorry. Yeah, Jeddah. What is it? Jedah.
Are these the first culture? There was like the worship the Force.
Well, okay, so let me
civilization
version, I guess, sort of druidy.
Right, and this was on Tython, but Mac, you know that the origins came before that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about the origins, the very beginning, before even the Jedi Order existed?
Well, if I'm correct, which I believe I am, there was.
Well, Drew, let him finish. Drew, let him finish up, and then you'll jump in and take over.
No, I was just reinforcing. I have nothing to say. I was just agreeing that he's correct.
Okay, cool.
I believe there were 3 known. They didn't used to call it the light side and the dark side, and like gray Jedi, I guess, has been something that people have played around with in Legends, but that is not that term and the actual role of that. Even though we've seen that Ahsoka she claims that she's not a Jedi anymore, but obviously she's not dark side, so many people have called her a gray Jedi. They didn't used to be called that. They used to be called, back during the Jedi Order, they used to be called Ashla, which stood for light, Bogan, which stood for dark, and Bendu was the balance of the both. And if you watch Star Wars Rebels, this past Season 3, which, by the way, I'm super pumped up for Season 4 in the fall, but during Season 3, when it ended this earlier this spring, somewhere around March or April, a few of the episodes had this one character called the Bendu, and he actually is the balance between the light and the dark. And he mentors Kanan Jarrus and helps Kanan Jarrus to kind of understand what Ezra Bridger is going through, because Darth Maul tried to been learning from a Sith holocron and everything. I'm not going to go too much into that because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't watched the show.
Okay, so Bendu, I don't know if Andrew, if you want to tag in here, wasn't there a race before the Jedi and they taught all these new people about the Force? Was there like a super ancient race?
I believe so, but I've been pretty. I think they were pilgrims, I believe, or something like that from Tho Yor, which I'm not completely sure what that is, because that was probably at least 10,000 years before the Jedi Order. So I think the Tho Yor is the name of the race, and there were 8 pyramid ships or ships that look like pyramids scattered throughout the galaxy, that had different planets like kind of connected to them through the Force, and the people controlling the ship, the Tho-Yor, they would kind of travel back and forth from the planets and see when sentient life was created. Or I always mess up that word. My dad says I say it incorrectly. But
Sounded good to me.
Sentient? That's perfect.
Yeah.
What's the race called again?
Tell your father to
Tho-Yor.
For your information.
That was a pretty good pun. But yeah,
Here's the Force.
Yeah, they just kind of start like they kind of. Has anyone here watched the show Naruto?
No.
Yeah, yeah, about the kid that goes to school to be a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from the Leaf Village.
Yeah, but
I know of it. Yeah.
Before all that, there was like space beings that came from another world and basically instilled this energy, which in that show they call chakra. In Star Wars, you can refer to it as the same thing as the Force. But they instilled it in the beings on those worlds and basically taught them how to use the ability and access the ability. And the Tho-Yor were people from an even farther depths of the galaxy and came to the Star Wars galaxy to 8 individual planets and instilled the Force and the ways to use the Force and showing how it can make your everyday life more peaceful and help you deal with hard times and your anger and things like that. And those planets that got to use the Force first, that's why they have such ancient things on the planet. Like Kashyyyk has this one tree. I forgot what the tree is called, but it's basically like the tree of life.
Kashyyyk is where the Wookiees are from.
Yeah. And that was one of the 8 first planets that had Force-sensitive beings, or was instilled with, or like had the Force pretty much breathed into it or pumped into it. So that was Kashyyyk was one of the first planets that had Force-sensitive beings.
I just love that entire concept. You know, that entire concept. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of religions, they kind of are similar in a ways.
So they didn't.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm OT 8 from Scientology now.
Yeah, except this is so much more real. So
without a doubt.
No offense to my Scientology friends, just a joke.
Your Scientology friends.
Yeah, no, well, none personal, but you never know who's listening out there. There's tens of thousands listening to us right now.
Without a doubt.
So I think this is interesting because this really begs the question between the original trilogy and episodes 1, 2, and 3. Why weren't these planets just seeded with metachlorians? Like why? Do you know what I mean? Why isn't this? Why weren't these? If you want to train people in the Force, and it's a chemistry, and like.
All right, hold on. So can we talk about midichlorians for a second? So
that's what we're talking about. It, man.
I have a feeling that a lot of your viewers aren't going to know what they are. I keep saying viewers, but I mean listeners.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, midichlorians. Basically, if you turn on the TV in the morning and you watch Maury Povich, and it's like, "Are you the father?" All right. Midichlorians are Anakin's father, and like he was not happy. Let me tell you.
Okay. So
but no, technically, midichlorians are microscopic organisms that help connect the living force to the cosmic force. Is that correct, Mac?
That is correct.
Okay.
Lovely.
I told you I was divorced, so this terminology is not coming from a healthy place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have an opinion on it?
They are Annika's baby daddy, right? Right?
We used to call them maggot-chlorians because they were little maggots that lived inside Jedi.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But there's some kind of there's something a little creepy.
I heard about it. I was like, oh, what the hell is this?
And that's coming from somebody who actually liked the first episode.
Right, I know. I'm about to say, like, magachlorians are like what us, deniers of the prequel trilogy call it.
I by no means think that the first episode is infallible. It is completely flawed, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. But I'm like a John Waters fan, so my bar is low.
George was going the religious angle there. He was definitely going the religious angle. We are like, there's no other way. There's no other explanation, and that's fine. It plays. I think as of the franchise, Matt? I think we all accept it now. Like back in the 2000s, I didn't accept it. I more or less accept it. I accept it more than I accept Hayden Christensen as Anakin.
Aww. As years go by, we'll love you more. Mac, what do you think?
Mac, what's your opinion on that? On my question to you specifically. I mean, why wouldn't you just put metachlorians, inject them into humans, or infest them on a planet, or what? You know what I mean?
I think because in the very beginning, it was less like the Thoyor were less wanting to just basically give them a gift, but wanting to because if you do something like that, like if there was a way to give someone a force power, say that your wife or girlfriend was having a baby and you could give them the ability to use the force, would it be cooler if you could just somehow like inject it into the DNA, or would it be cooler if you could actually teach them how to use the force and they would know where they got it from?
I like to inject it personally. All right.
Well, that's the difference between somebody who wants to meditate and somebody who wants to take mushrooms. You take psychedelic mushrooms, it's going to get you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. But you can take the mushrooms and get to a place very fast, but you have less control over yourself than you do if you're meditating. And I think the meditating is like the slow, hard learned process, and that if you can get to that heightened, elevated state of consciousness through hard work and discipline and patience, then I think that you are going to be more of a master than if you take the shortcut.
Well, that's how they train the younglings. The younglings have to do a lot of meditation. Younglings is obviously the first rank, in the Jedi Order. When children show signs of being attuned to the Force, or they have a high midichlorian count,
they're ripped from their families.
They're taken away from their families.
It's
terrible.
Exactly.
Terrible. Which is the right. To be fair, though, so the reason that they did that was apparently to keep them away from the dark side of the Force, which is also a pretty good parallel to
it
our
makes sense. Yeah.
With our parents trying to protect us from the bad things of life.
Yeah,
that's Star Wars is so great. Like it's just so relatable on so many levels, and I just love it. I think everyone in this.
Yeah, there's so many parallels with Buddhism too. I mean, so I think that's what he was drawing on as well. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the history of it. So, we know that people were sort of plucked, I guess. Mac, do you know why people were chosen to how they were chosen, that they were the ones to be learning the Force?
I don't actually think that it was any certain reason. I think it was just kind of like I said, the Thoyor just came out of just deep space, and I think they were probably just the first 8 worlds that they stumbled upon. Like they probably just had a number in mind. There's not an actual reason behind it. And what I'm speaking of right now, I'm pretty sure it is canon, but they haven't in comics of recent. The only thing that we've heard of the Jedi Order is a few things in the book, but nothing that actually explains how it came to be. And from the TV show, whenever Kanan Jarrus is talking with the Bendu, but he doesn't even refer to it as any. He doesn't even tell him an origin story of what happened. So really, we're kind of still in the dark. I've just told you as much as I know. I know you can probably look up the Thoyor and read up on it yourself. But
can we spell that? Can we get a spelling on that?
Thoyor.
Excellent. Look at that, Andrew. Mm-hmm. All right. So my guess is that Luke is doing his research, and that he knows all about this ancient history, which back when, understanding the dark and the light was part of being a Jedi. I mean, didn't they send people off of Tython to like a moon of Tython to study specifically like the dark side? So it wasn't neither was mutually exclusive, right?
No,
Yes.
it's in the beginning. Didn't they teach not each Jedi both, but they taught some one and some the other because they wanted to keep the balance together? Because there was like
there was a division.
They were trying to
I can't
contain
remember
the energy, and they figured if they had the balance, that it would be, what is it? That there is not a disturbance in the Force, right? That it would be calm. But what they didn't understand was that there was all this radiating dark force energy going on too, and that pushed the balance over. I think that's it.
Yeah, Andrew, what do you think?
I think that's absolutely right. I have nothing further to debate on that subject.
So,
I mean, honestly, they pretty much covered it all.
So
they really did. They really did.
All right. Good night, everybody. That's it for Paranormal Now.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But
Now we still have much.
I mean, no. So that's just how it was, man. That's just how it was back then.
Right.
Okay, so Mac, why don't you
Galaxy
tag
far,
in?
far away, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, pick up on the
What'd you
long
say?
time ago, Mac, and tell us what you think about back in the day when the Jedi were learning dark and light. Can you tell us more about that?
To be honest, working behind episode 1, I still know a good bit about behind episode 1, and I believe. Let me check really quick. Yes, the time that the Thoyor were that they came to be or came into the Star Wars galaxy was 36,453 BBY, which
What's BBY?
I was about to say that before. BBY refers to the event in episode 4, or as you old heads like to call, just A New Hope. That stands for before.
I'm old enough.
I was starting to like you, Mac.
So you're speaking about the Battle of Yavin, right?
I
Yes,
will do it.
BBY
Okay,
stands for before the Battle of Yavin, and ABY stands for after the Battle of Yavin. And both of those are pretty much like AD and BC.
Pretty much identical. Pretty much identical.
So my guess is that I really think that this is what's going to happen, and this is what is supposed to be the big catastrophe shocking event.
Shocking and real, Alan.
Because Luke actually says in the trailer, the time of the Jedi are over. So
It's over,
I think
right? Exactly.
he's going.
I think they're done, bro.
I think he's going back to the Jedi origins. I think he's going to play. He's going to live in the dark and the light. And
You think he's just gonna throw midichlorians all over that beautiful island?
yes, it's a Disney-owned franchise now, so he just needs a wand, and he'll put some.
That place.
So to speak. I'm being clean.
I do think that's what's going to happen. That Luke is living on both sides. I think that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's awesome. I actually really like that theory. Because so we were talking about the trailer. We were talking about the behind the scenes, and they really try to play it like they show Carrie Fisher a lot, and they kind of try to play it like there's gonna be a surprise. I really don't think they're gonna kill off Princess Leia. I really don't think they're going to. I really don't think that's gonna happen.
They already said that they're not going to use any
I get
contemporary
that.
stuff.
Maybe she gets on a ship and that's the last we see of her. I don't know, but I mean they do show her a lot. And I know we kind of chatted briefly beforehand. Like still seeing clips of Miss Fisher is very difficult. It's very rough for me.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean, I can see that.
I can't believe she's gone.
Yeah, I mean that actually might make sense, Andrew. Drew, sorry, man.
I have a lot.
He said Stan Drew.
Great white chocolate on it.
I call him Andrew, but he's really Drew. So I think that makes sense. I think it's sensitive to the fans in a way. Perhaps instead of quote killing her off right away, maybe over for the next episode 9.
I mean,
she's just not present, and somewhere down the line she's killed off.
I think it was either in IMDb or Variety that her son and daughter have given permission for them to use the film that they already used. The studio says they have no interest in digitally reproducing a performance of her, and that they will not be using contemporary footage of Carrie, and they are also scrambling to try and figure out how to explain her disappearance in the next film.
Interesting. So they're basically not going to pull a Rogue One, is what you're saying?
No.
Hope.
Rogue One was so dope, though.
It was dope, bro. And I agree with you. So, like, I feel like this is where the room splits. I feel like Mac and I are on one side, and Alan and Miss Camille are on the other.
No,
Camille, did you? No, Camille likes it. You like it, right?
I love it. I don't really have one that I don't like.
Yeah. Okay.
I just really would like to see the original cut of that. Just want to throw that out there. I know there's the original cut out there. If you're listening, if someone has that, let's talk turkey. Hit me up. I have Bitcoin. Feel me out.
No one has it. No one has it. Oh God.
So we're gonna go deep web for the uncut version.
Word.
Deep web is very scary.
Yeah, Andrew, you're right. I don't like Rogue One necessarily. I know I'm in the minority. I didn't hate it. I just had zero, like, the execution was well done in my mind, but I had zero emotional connection to a single character.
Bro, listen, if you watch the original trailer for that, and compare that to, like, the movie that we saw, there's like half the trailer is not in that movie, man. They made a lot of changes. There was a lot of reshoots in that movie. Now, I thought there was some really, it had its moments. Like, I thought Donnie Yen killed it, and like I liked his whole character about how he wasn't a Jedi, but he believes in the Force.
Right.
He's one with the Force, and the Force is with him. I love that. I really did love seeing that. And you had to know going into it, spoiler alert, that the crew that went to take down the Death Star to get the plans wasn't going to make it out. Like, you knew it was going to go down that way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really happy with it. And the last thing I'll say about it, I really thought it was cool how they showed that not everyone in the rebellion is, like, a really good guy. Like, some of them, had to do some dirty work to get the job done. Some of them are saboteurs, assassins. I thought that was pretty cool because you don't see that side of the rebels, the rebellion. You don't see that side in the Holy Trilogy.
Yeah, and if you look at real life,
first.
Yeah, I mean, think about World War II in real life. And I'm sorry, Camille, go ahead.
I said, not unless you believe Han shot first.
Right. Let's not go back to that.
I'm not. You just said it's a thing, and I was like, oh my.
But if you think about real life, you think about the Holocaust and World War II, and you make the parallel that the rebels were, the anti-Nazis, then yeah, people did some hardcore killing because they had to. It was a matter of survival, and that's where the original idea, I feel like, kind of justified someone like Han Solo, is because being a scoundrel character, if your motives are on the side of good, you can get away with it.
You got to do it, man. Yeah. He was pushed against the wall. He knew his life was on the line. He drew first. It doesn't change anything about it. He's a dirty scoundrel. He's a scruffy-looking nerve herder, man. That's not going to change.
Wait. Camille, go ahead.
If your motives and your morals are good and you live in an immoral world, sometimes you have to break the law, Rosa Parks. That is just what you have to do. That's just it. And you will, if you have morality, you'll regret it later. And that's how we know you're not a monster.
Right. Okay. So now, do you guys see any connection between Rogue One and this new film at all, besides just the basic storyline? Are there any Easter eggs that connect these two, or?
I have a feeling they might throw something in there. I have a feeling maybe you'll see like K2's like corpse or something like that.
Well, K2,
pour one out for K2.
Yeah,
he was the homie. He was the homie for sure.
Yeah,
Alan, come on.
Mac
Alan,
pointed that out.
I know you're like not really on the Rogue One camp, but like, tell me you didn't feel something when K2, held it down.
Oh, that was it. That was the only character that I liked. Yeah.
Like that K2. You fell for that dude. You fell for the dude.
I did. He made me laugh. He made me sad.
R2-D2 aren't doing that. They're not pulling those things. R2 maybe, not C-3PO.
Dude, Cassian.
Cassian's dope. Cassian's the homie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dude, Cassian, honestly, look, Drew, you're really not about to like me when I say this, but I think Cassian is honestly way cooler than Han Solo.
I can see that, though. I can see that. The fact that he survived that crash, and honestly, like, the things that he was able to do in Force Awakens at the battle of the new Death Star. What do they call that? The Dark Star. What is it called? The new Death Star.
The Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base. It's kind of hard for me to when I hear the Starkiller, because I don't know if you played Force Unleashed 2 or Force Unleashed, but like his name was Starkiller, so it's kind of weird for me to hear that.
And just hold it right there. Everybody, hold on. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Paranormal Now on the Inception Radio Network, and we will come back and continue geeking out on Star Wars. Stay tuned. We've got so much more ground to cover. All right, until the next couple of minutes, hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free. You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
And welcome back to Paranormal Now. All right, so we're going to continue geeking out. But before we do, Drew, Gregory, is there an account, an IG account, or anything that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, the Great White Chocolate. You gotta say the whole thing. You gotta say the whole thing. The Great White Chocolate. And apparently my scene in Friends from College, which is now streaming on Netflix, made it. I can't tell you what episode it is, but just watch the whole thing. It's gonna be it's real funny. I had a great time on that set. It was a lot of fun. So look for that. Thank you.
All right, yeah, and just for the record as a reminder, Drew is an actor as well. And Camille, what about yourself? Is there any links or anything that you want to share? Are there any links?
Well, I'm a professional bad influence, so you can look for me on the police blotter.
Hey now.
And
you
right. We're getting sassy tonight, guys. I love it. Okay.
Force is strong with this one.
So because I did forget in the previous break, taking us out of the break was Fascination by LaRue, and taking us out of the second break was, oh yeah, Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News. That's because I grew up in the 80s. Thank you very much.
I love them both.
Right,
I love them both. Rue's great. Huey Lewis is great. Well done, my friend. Well done.
All right,
Mr. Smith,
cool. So
that is no
I was
excuse.
jamming.
there's no excuse. Oh,
No,
are you not a fan?
of course.
Oh,
Huey
okay.
Lewis or LaRue?
Okay.
I feel like that's a whole nother
Yeah.
show, Alan.
One of the first movies I remember seeing besides E.T. was Back to the Future in the theaters.
All right. Pop. If this is
Okay.
pop-up video, I've never seen Back to the Future 1, 2, or 3. I'm just throwing that out there. I know that might be sacrilegious.
Okay, so that's
I
all
love
we
Michael
have
J.
from Drew
Fox.
Gregory tonight, everybody. We're moving on.
The Frighteners was pretty dope.
I thought we were friends, Drew. I thought we were friends. I can't believe
I've
it.
just never seen it, man. I enjoyed the ride at Universal Studios. That was probably the
good.
coolest
That's
ride
fun.
there when I was there.
What
Back in
in
92.
fact is the relationship between Daisy and Mark?
In real life or in the film?
No, I'm just trying to steer the conversation back.
I mean,
okay.
listen. Sorry, we get carried
No,
away.
go ahead.
Like I said, we go way back. Alan and I go way back.
Gross.
Well, I mean, I do want to just keep the conversation focused on the Jedi as much as possible. So we left it off kind of talking about the connection perhaps between Rogue One and Episode 8, which maybe there's some Easter eggs, but we haven't really discovered them yet.
I think you'll see at least one. One.
I feel like I haven't gotten like a thorough sense from Camille. Like, what do you think Luke Skywalker either has been doing, and or what do you think he is planning on doing?
I think he went like on a Jesus trip, man. I think he did the whole thing, the axial age, we get all our prophets and stuff, Because so far this has been a story of it. This has been the hero story. This is the Arthurian quest for the Holy Grail, only now it's a sword that cuts people with fire. And it's fun, right? It's a fun combination of things. But the logical end of being an ingenue warrior who then becomes a master is then you have to question your beliefs and you have to have new input and you have to learn things from people who are smarter than you and dig up Matt Damon or whatever it is you need to do. And so I feel like, of course, we're watching Luke develop into Obi-Wan, right?
Who's my favorite character?
Right,
Alec Guinness
exactly.
version, of course.
But the student now surpasses the teacher. He may have both the dark force and the light force balanced within him. He was set up to.
I love that theory. I never thought about that, but I think that's a great theory.
Because what they were doing, right, we were talking about this earlier, is that they were giving, some of the Jedi kids were getting the Jedi training and some were getting the dark training. And so that was a cohesive, balanced environment, but then one went out of balance. And that's why everybody's always obsessed about the balance, So maybe if the balance is within ourselves, instead of expecting it to come from somebody who is either an antagonist or someone who will become a protagonist, that doesn't really necessarily need to happen if you're meditating enough.
Makes sense. I totally get that.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this out there, and Mac, I'll let you respond first to this. What do you think about Kylo Ren, a.k.a. Ben Solo, actually working for Luke?
He said it.
Mac, you saw
So
that?
you just, I just didn't know if you were finishing saying something to that.
Yep, no, go ahead. Yep.
So you just want my opinion on Kylo Ren?
Oh, well, Kylo Ren, and do you think that he's working for Luke?
No, I think Kylo Ren's evil. Kind of what Kylo Ren. My theory, personally, on how Rey and Luke Skywalker's related ties in a little bit, just a slight, little smidge with Kylo Ren.
I just want to throw this in there to add this to your question. So, obviously something went down with the Knights of Ren. We kind of saw a little flashback to it in Force Awakens. Enlighten us with that. What do you think that was, bro? I know it all goes together.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think that is totally. I don't think that's totally what that was. I don't think that was him and the rest of the Knights of Ren sacking whatever temple that or training facility that Luke had. I think that was something that's going to end up happening to Rey or happening to Luke later. That was kind of a foreshadowing for Episode 8 or even Episode 9.
Well, just to go along what we were talking about, though, I mean, do you think that Luke did something that the rest of the Knights of Ren did not agree with, and that's why they went their way and he went his and he went into exile? I mean, I know we kind of thought about, that's kind of my theory, that in Last Jedi, either Luke's gonna go bad or so, kind of like Alan's theory about how he's half light, he's half dark. I kind of feel like something happened there, man. Something clearly went down where Luke knows Kylo Ren. He knows the other Knights of Ren. We don't know if they're around anymore, but something happened there, man. Something happened there.
I think because Kylo Ren, or at the time before he became Kylo Ren, Ben Solo knew about his family's history and how strong in the Force the Skywalker bloodline is. His grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, before Darth Vader, and then training him, his uncle Luke Skywalker, how immensely powerful they both are in the Force. He felt like he wanted, in a sense, to have that injection of midi-chlorians and just wanted the easy way out and the fast way, and that's the way of the dark side, and that's why he and Luke didn't get along, because Luke was saying that, yes, it's okay to have darkness and have demons, but at the same time you must be able to hold on to yourself and kind of keep your consciousness and your morals kind of all wound together and keep from doing irrational things like the dark side characters that we've seen through the entire saga do. So I think it was really just he was having a power rush when he first started getting a little bit of training and realizing that maybe there was a possibility that he was succeeding, or that he was learning things faster than his classmates or the other younglings or Padawans, and he was thinking that he was wasting his time by trying to be so precise and just kind of taking it the slow and hard but well-deserved way. He wanted to just go, and Luke was like, no, you can't do that. And so he said, okay, well, I'll defeat you, and he probably tried to attack Luke or something like that. And when he realized he couldn't do that, he probably just said, okay, well, I'll just keep you from being able to teach anybody these stupid ways, and just murdered everyone at the temple. Or
I think you pretty much just telegraphed the shocking scene that's going to occur in The Last Jedi. If it goes down, I think Max just called it.
Same scene. Somebody gets cut down with a lightsaber.
Someone's losing an arm. We know someone's losing an arm or a hand. You know that just has to happen.
I like it. I know.
It's tradition. It's tradition. It's tradition at this point.
A cloak.
Well, maybe it's a foot now instead.
Wait, so Mac, you do agree though that Luke at one point was leader of the Knights of Ren? You do agree with that?
I don't agree that he was the leader of the Knights of Ren. I think that if the Knights of Ren are people or students...
Do you think they spawned from his teachings? Do you think they spawned from... Okay.
I do think they spawned from him. But they were probably, just like Kylo Ren wasn't always Kylo Ren, he was at once Ben Solo, say that one of the other Knights of Ren's name is Alan Smith, and Drew Gregory.
Yeah. True.
But, I mean... But then once they became evil, they had to take on an alias or another name to mask their previous identity.
Confusing. No, that totally makes it not confusing when some character has three or four.
Three names. Yeah.
Exactly.
And most of them wear headgear.
I mean, we all know that Kylo Ren has Skywalker blood, and knowing the Skywalker history, being anxious to learn fast is definitely in the blood. So I wouldn't be surprised that
for sure,
and not good,
and not good. I mean, even Luke was tempted to cross over to the dark side. I mean, he had to go through that.
We've all been there. We've all been there. You know,
that's what I'm saying. You got to balance that shit out in yourself. I mean,
exactly.
you know?
So
Exactly.
my dark suspicion is that
Let's hear it.
in Luke's attempt to try to balance being light and dark, he is actually behind the destruction of the temple and all of the slaughtering. I think that he may have motivated that. It might have gone out of control, but I think he was dipping into the dark side.
Mac, who destroyed the Jedi Temple where
Sorry, siren going by. That happens in New York City. Sorry, guys.
Who I can't remember, Mac, you know this.
You can't remember what?
Who destroyed the Jedi Temple?
I think that it was probably Kylo Ren, but it wasn't Kylo Ren that was, I think it was Ben Solo, not Kylo Ren. I think it was Ben Solo, because in the movie, in 7, Leia and Han are talking when they're back at the Resistance base.
Yeah.
And Leia says that Snoke had been kind of trying to take Ben away from them for a long time and ended up succeeding. So I think that he was probably like whispering in his ear from a distance, like either through the Force or, meeting him at some location, and was planting a seed in his head to become dark. And that's why he's now working as, Snoke's apprentice and the Master of the Knights of Ren.
It's suspicious.
While we're on Snoke, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Wait, no, go ahead, Camille.
It's suspicious, though, because if Ben Solo had this gift, and we know who his mother is, people would feel that, and that would be dangerous. However, there's no institutional structure for him to get trained. And it's dangerous. Because you remember how they were like, no, Luke is too old, obviously, right? Okay, but this is a kid, and he's got all those midichlorian type genes. He needs guidance. I blame society.
Well, Drew, what do you think about this?
Hold on, before I forget, because it's so rare that I'm here with the Jedi Master, and I just want to ask Mac, do you think that Snoke is an existing character that we've already met, or is he a character that was introduced in Force Awakens?
Well, that's really hard to call. I know for a fact.
I want to know what you think. I don't care what they say. I want to know what you think.
Just your own opinion.
I see what you're saying. I believe in that.
Honestly, I think he's probably a character we've already seen.
Okay, who do you think it is?
Dude, I gotta go with, because he's not.
I gotta know it. I gotta know. Tell me, who is it?
To me, he's not really traditional dark side like the way Sidious and Vader were. Like, it's kind of like a new dark side. So I'd have to say it's either, in my opinion, it's got to be either Plagueis survived his injuries from Palpatine whenever Palpatine tried to murder him in his sleep.
Plagueis was like the most powerful Sith of all time.
Or it's Mace Windu.
Oh, Samuel.
I've heard.
Mace Windu, 100%. Always Mace Windu.
Oh, you think so, Camille? You think it's Mace Windu?
Sam Jackson come back for episode 8 or 9. I would love to see that.
He was the Isaac Hayes of Star Wars.
The Isaac Hayes. I like that.
He's the chef of Star Wars.
No, okay, so wait. So, okay, but you can't have Samuel coming back and playing
If he's Snoke, though, yeah.
But you already have Andy Serkis doing Snoke's voice, and he's a graphic.
Yeah, but it's been time has passed, Alan. Time has passed. I mean, I don't sound as young and spry as I did from 5 years ago. That things happen. A couple of years.
It's funny. I noticed that.
I know it's terrible. I probably sound awful on audio this evening. I apologize to all the listeners.
Are they?
But I just don't see how it's possible, unless, I mean, and now this morph would be less extreme, but clearly the Emperor could when he's breaking out his powers, his face literally changes. So he gets that. So maybe Samuel can appear in a more disfigured form, Mace Windu. I don't know. I don't know if that's viable.
Snoke wasn't born that way. Like, he didn't come out the womb like that. Like that dude's gone through some things. He's definitely had a change or two, gone down in his life.
But why would Mace Windu be dark on the dark side?
Because Mace Windu we all see him, he was already playing with that's the reason his lightsaber's purple. He was balancing the dark and the light side. That's why he created his own lightsaber combat form called Vapad, because or as many people like to say, Vapad, because there wasn't a lightsaber combat form that really did his Jedi way or his way of training justice, because all of them were tailored to purely light side Force users. So he had to create his own lightsaber form called Vapad because he balanced the light and the dark.
See, that's why.
What more has to be said right there? Case closed.
And he didn't exactly die either, right? I mean, we just see him falling out the window.
Yeah, he went out the window, but I mean, Luke went out the window. Vader went out the window. A lot of cats that went out the window in the Star Wars trilogy.
And we know
all the Jason
films. The Force lightning from the Emperor, it doesn't necessarily kill you on impact. We've seen that Force lightning doesn't kill instantly, so he could have taken a lot of that and been fine.
It doesn't kill Jedi instantly.
True.
Oh, yeah.
True story.
Right. That's a good call. Camille knows the business. She knows.
All right, so go ahead, Mac.
I mean, we've seen Luke get hit with Force lightning. We've seen Mace get hit with Force lightning. Luke lived. I don't see why Mace can't. We've also seen Anakin Skywalker. Speaking of the exact same setting, we've seen, or Anakin Skywalker rather, we've seen Anakin Skywalker jump out of the speeder in Coruscant and land down on Zam Wassel's speeder. So if he can jump and fall down those, I'm sure that was at least 50 stories. If he could jump and fall all the way down there and land on the ship perfectly fine, I don't see why Mace and this just came to mind. Luke Skywalker could fall off of the thing, the little forgot what it's called, the antenna or like the little thing that he's hanging onto. Yeah, and just fell off. I don't see why Mace Windu couldn't live from falling out of the Chancellor's office.
So then why can't Han Solo survive a fall? I know he's not, exactly Force sensitive.
Not Force sensitive.
Exactly.
He's not, but we didn't actually see him die, right?
Let's think of it from a Disney standpoint now. Hold on, to making money. Disney owns Star Wars. Disney owns Marvel. Okay.
Wait.
I love him having Sam Jackson. Bring Sam Jackson back as Snoke. Why not? Why not? Disney has the rights.
We have
Camille,
actually three kinds of deaths in Star Wars. The completely traumatizing death that turns someone into a hero. The inconsequential death of some soldier or robot who cares. And then there is the questionable death.
The questionable.
And this is part of the suspense that makes us want to go see the next movie. You bit it. You bit the bait.
I mean, here's the thing. He got stabbed with a lightsaber, but if upon being stabbed, not sliced, stabbed by a lightsaber, if the Force user of the lightsaber is not imbuing Force energy into the lightsaber, it is obviously we see that it didn't melt his insides instantly, right?
Yeah, but
he's a
Jedi Master. Hold on, was he a Jedi Master? Was he a Jedi Master or a Jedi Knight? Mac?
No,
No, I'm saying that he's probably
no. But I'm speaking about Han Solo here. Han Solo got stabbed by Ben.
Oh, he's done. He's done.
That's right.
But it didn't melt him right away. Why didn't the lightsaber just obliterate his organs instantly?
I think that when people are at a certain OT level, sorry, I'm just watching all this stuff. When you reach a certain level, you can, I still think that Obi-Wan had learned how to bring people back to life. But I think that when your energy is in a certain place, you can manipulate stuff. But Han wasn't one of those folks.
No, but what I'm saying is, couldn't Ben manipulate the lightsaber?
this is what I'm saying. Because
Okay.
when Ben gets sliced, when he gets his, I guess he's decapitated by the lightsaber, he just disappears. And then he goes into the ether and he has an intangible form that represents who he is entirely, including his intentions and his belief system. That's not the same kind of death. That goes into the mysterious death category. The traumatizing death, the inconsequential death, and the mysterious death. That's how I see it.
I don't know, Mac. What do you think? Do you think that Kylo Ren could have purposely controlled the energy of that lightsaber so as not to just completely obliterate the insides of his father, Han Solo?
Well, as much as I know that Star Wars fans, or at least other Star Wars fans, such as Drew, like it to be mostly mystical and hate when science plays a part. Science in everyday life, I mean...
Let me just say I believe in science and everything that it does.
God made us all, but God made us all with science. That's my... I mean, don't let me...
I figured she was a great scientist, you know?
True.
Yeah, Alanis Morissette. Right, Alanis Morissette. Anyone know that reference? No?
I got it.
Dogma
I got
reference?
it. I got
Okay.
you, buddy. That was good. That was good. Alan gets the point.
All right, so, okay, but now here's the thing, Mac. I think you make a good point. And I was thinking about this earlier in our conversation, and it hadn't actually occurred to me, and it's probably right in front of my face in the movie. But the idea of metachlorians, actually when I was 19 and I was smoking a lot of herbs at the time.
Let's call it glitter spice. We'll call it spice. Han
At the
Solo
time, yeah, some natural green herbs. I was really into episode 1. I mean, I loved it, and the whole. And I didn't.
Several states.
I thought the metachlorian thing was really cool, and I thought that it still kept a metaphysical aspect to it because the metachlorians, while they may enhance, maybe they only work if you are already strongly force sensitive. Like you can't just inject metachlorians into anybody and it work.
No.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So you're still marrying mysticism and science. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
You got to be force attuned. You know.
I was really gonna hit you with a trivia fact or a fact
Please do. Mac, do it, Mac.
Probably never thought about.
Okay,
so
back to tech.
Do you remember in 1977 when the first Star Wars movie came out? Another cantina scene was when Ponda Baba grabbed, which is what many people call Walrus Man, grabbed Luke Skywalker and had a problem with him. And Dr. Evazan, who was his partner,
he doesn't like you.
Yeah, he was saying that he had a problem with him.
I don't like you either.
And all that stuff. Well, when Ponda Baba...
Watch yourself.
Wait, let him finish. It's funny, but let him finish.
True, let him finish.
Systems. But
okay, Mac, keep going.
But whenever he got his arm chopped off, his forearm, you saw blood on the floor. That is the only movie that you see blood on the floor, or like blood from getting an arm chopped off.
Right.
That is. Here's the science behind that. The race that Ponda Baba is called Aqualish. Aqualish are kind of like spider creatures in a way. Spiders in the real world have an open circulatory system, which means you cut off a finger, you cut off an arm, there's no veins or anything. Like they literally pump blood straight through their foot. Like it's hollow on the inside. There's only blood there. So when his arm got cut off, there was nothing to cauterize. So that's why there was blood. But any other, like humans, Wookiees, pretty much any other race in Star Wars has a closed circulatory system like human beings. So whenever you cut off their arm or their leg or anything, that's why it's cauterized and there's no blood.
I love that.
Okay,
I never
that's
knew
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Like that makes perfect sense.
Now, if you're force sensitive though, can you control what's going on with you internally if you're injured?
Yeah, you have to take a supplement.
If there is, I can honestly say I don't have an answer to that. I love being called the Jedi Master, but I mean, everyone should know.
You are in this room, buddy.
When it comes to Star Wars, I honestly have come to justice with the fact that I don't think I'll ever know everything. I think I'll always know a lot, but I don't think I'll ever know everything. No, just because there's constantly new material coming out, and even though I'm trying my best to keep up with it, there's not more than one Mac Barnes, and I still have other humanly things that I have to do. So, I mean, as much as I'd like to say that there's probably a way, it hasn't been stated yet in any medium that I've read so far, comics, movies, anything like that. But I'm sure, if you're a Jedi and you can do things like have lightning and fire come out of your fingertips, I'm more than positive that there's an ability where you can control your lightsaber to where how much damage it does, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, yeah, Plagueis could. He could control life and death, though. Plagueis could.
Oh,
There's gotta be there's gotta be other cats that were sensitive with the Force that could do something similar. There's gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, cool. Let's hold it right there, guys. We're going to take another quick and last break. This is Alan B. Smith for Paranormal Now. My guests are Drew Gregory, Camille-Betina Atkinson, and Mac Barnes, who doesn't like to be called the Star Wars Encyclopedia, but that's what we call him anyway. Anyway, after this quick break, we will be right back.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Welcome back to Paranormal Now. I'm your host, Alan B. Smith, on the Inception Radio Network. And my guest tonight, we are all geeking out and talking about Star Wars. I want to pick it up a little bit where we left off. And I almost forgot. Coming out of the break was What I Got by Sublime. Let's pick it up.
If you were at Comic-Con yesterday, happy Star Wars Day. It's Saturday now, obviously, but Friday was Star Wars Day. Comic-Con, yay!
Okay. So let's talk about the science a little bit more. I think that when the first films came out, science wasn't really that important. Do you think?
I think that's a great.
I also agree with that.
Yeah.
What I remember, because I was a little kid then, is that what happened was there was all this new science information that we were getting in the culture, and all the sci-fi movies were like Harry Harryhausen It was pathetic.
Mm.
It was really, really bad, and no one took science fiction seriously as a genre.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that your little brother begged you to take him to on a Saturday morning. So this changed everything in space film.
I feel Camille has the edge on us in that regard. You know, like, I totally get why you appreciate the prequel trilogy. I get that. Like, it makes sense to me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I get why you like the prequel. You know, you were around for the original Holy Trilogy. I get it now.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, but
for all the sins I committed. Please forgive me.
Just like the diversity that's in the Star Wars universe salutes the kind of diversity that we have. And to have different ideas fosters conversation. It's not a bad thing, you know? And I would never, ever try to convince somebody that they're wrong when it comes to a piece of fiction.
Right.
Good point. Yeah.
You know, I think we all have our theories, and you know, that's why I love talking about it, especially the hypotheticals. There was a lot of hypotheticals today, and I loved it.
Conversations about literature and tracks of history. Those conversations. Think about the knowledge that's encased in the Torah. It's basically a series of criticisms of the Bible, and people can keep writing in it.
Right.
Right. So there's no absolute perfect.
No.
Right.
No. God, I hope not.
Just to go along with that, all right, so obviously, you know, Lucas no longer has the rights, and it's been sold to Disney. We have a lot of Star Wars movies coming out. Do you think they continue the trilogy, or, you know, after 7, 8, 9, do you continue it? Do you give us a 10, 11, 12? Or do you focus on different characters? Do you focus on different aspects of the universe? Guys, honestly, like I've had enough of the main characters. Let's just explore other areas.
I'm gonna die anyway, but here's the thing: every single one of those movies was a first Star Wars movie to someone who is a fan now. Mm-hmm. Every single one. And so, if those movies are good and they tell a good story, and people forget about homework for 2 hours, fine.
Sidebar to my 80s cats that are listening. Camille, have you seen the Ewoks movies? Have you seen them? No, I'm just saying, have you seen the Ewoks movies? And Mac, have you seen the Ewoks movies? Because
definitely seen them.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're amazing. They're incredible, and you know, hopefully we'll see them in high definition one day.
Mind, Jesus, I didn't think I would think about that ever.
That little girl needed a friend. And she found a friend in Wicked W. Warwick. Wicked
was that the Ewok Adventure?
Warwick.
Screen.
I believe that's the second one. There's two Ewok films. But that's
Battle for Endor and Battle for Endor and the Ewok Adventure, right?
You got.
Or no?
I saw the Star Wars Christmas special when it was on.
That is why, Camille, I will bow down to you. Well done.
That's why I do drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the original appearance of Boba Fett. Little pop-up video fact: Boba Fett appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special as an animated character before he became, you know, pop culture and icon.
Baby Chewbacca. So Alan, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like to be. I said, you know, I asked you to say one word, but I think this is specific. What is it like to be a femme who likes Star Wars? Mm-hmm. Because not all people with a female perspective are men or women. So from a femme perspective, obviously the costumes are extraordinarily important. And why are they important? Because they're not about sexy body, right? Mm-hmm. Carrie Fisher was wearing a bath sheet, and I was
look good. Mama still looked good.
She looked amazing. It was beautiful. It was like a Donna Karen piece. But looking at the hair, I was a little girl who had to wear double-sided ponytails every day. And I hated it because my grandma would do them so tight I would get a migraine. But I saw Princess Leia and I was like, I'm going to wear those buns, you know? And it was, you know, this superhero who saved the prince and wasn't really keen on getting with him. I mean, she thought he was fascinating, but she wasn't all like, save my father and I'll be yours forever. I didn't have to deal with this damsel crap. And then to watch that character, you know, they didn't have nearly as many female characters as I would have enjoyed, but To see that character become a general, I mean, come on. I couldn't see because all of the tears and the snot, it was so beautiful to see that storyline structure allow her to manifest power, to succeed, and to be influential, because she was meant to, and having lost everyone and everything she knew in order to start this quest that she didn't know where was going to take her on, that's tremendous.
I feel like it's a fair assumption to make as a male, for all males, that even if we appreciate the importance of that character, Princess Leia, or any respected female heroine or lead character, but particularly Princess Leia, there's no way
Princess
we
Leia's
can.
an OG, man. Like, how many other characters were there before her? She's definitely.
But it could never.
Original.
Right, but it could never resonate with us like it could a woman.
True.
We just could never feel it the same way.
Has us beat.
Hold on. Yeah. Because she's also a minority in her situation.
Without a doubt.
She's a minority, and she's gone ahead and gone up. Now, when we talk about Padme, I do love Natalie Portman, but I don't know why she turned into a popsicle stick for that role.
Yeah,
I don't
get
know
that, man.
It was sometimes direction can go totally against what you want a character to do, and that's difficult. And I think that's where the problem was.
Padme was so much better on the Clone Wars. She was.
Padme, the stateliness, the Egyptian majesty, all that stuff, stealing from every culture and making it universal, that was just a dream come true. Right, because this was the only time we were going to get to see pretty things in this whole series.
Right. True.
After the shit's just like torn Jedi robes.
Let's not talk about the scene where her and Anakin frolic in the meadow of Naboo. One of the worst scenes in the entire franchise. But I digress.
Matt, aren't they called slugs?
That's not on her. That ain't her. That's not on Padme. That's not on Natalie. I love you, girl.
No, I agree with Camille though that the character is great, but I feel like I've seen much better acting from her than in the character of Padme.
Are we talking Natalie Portman? Or are we talking Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, Portman.
Yeah, I agree. Like, she's a great actress, but like, she definitely phoned that one in. Star Wars, episode.
Well, I don't know. I think Camille's.
She half phoned it in. She like, and let's be real. Like, episode 1, like, okay. She's there. She pretty much doesn't age from episode 1 and 2, but Anakin definitely ages. Like, Mama's a cougar, Padme is a cougar. They don't want to say that. They don't want to say that, but it's a true story. Jake Lloyd.
Camille, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that I see it with both Hayden Christensen in that film and Natalie Portman, that they are. I can see their instincts. I can tell from the way that they're breathing.
Let me ask you this, Camille. Do you agree? If you're ready,
wait, Drew, let her finish. Yeah.
Let me finish. That their instincts as performers, they even have chemistry. That's nice of them to have chemistry, but it gets kind of weird, and then all of their scenes have kind of this weirdness, and I really feel like if it's one actor who's doing that, that's a problem with the performer. But if it's more than one actor doing that, that's a problem with whoever is directing the scene.
I agree.
Exactly. No, I can't agree with you more. And I think it comes from originally Anakin being, 10 plus years younger than her. It was always kind of weird, and it never really played. And all of a sudden, in episode 2, he's more her age. But it just never really played, man. It just never really played for me.
I don't think it's that weird because they're not 10 years apart. They're only 5.
Agree to disagree.
I thought 7 because boys and the whole puberty thing, it can take a while.
Yeah.
If you look in, or if you this is actually canon, but it was never said in movies or anything like that. It took Weird Al Yankovic to bring it out in his song about episode 1 when he says
great story.
when he's talking about Anakin and Padme, the lyrics say, though he's 9 and she's 14, but he's gonna marry her someday. So, and then I looked it up to back it up to see if George Lucas had said anything about it.
Yeah,
he did state that he was 9 and she was 14 at the scene.
Listen, Weird Al does his research. Weird Al does his research. He's not going to be. He's no BS, my friend. He's no BS.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah. You have to wonder how much time he spent researching.
Before you were born, my friend. We know Weird Al for a while. Like, he's been around.
He's the GOAT.
He definitely is. He has hits, and he's transcended time. He may be a Jedi himself.
Dude, that would be dope.
Can I see one more thing?
Yeah.
About The Force Awakens. As a brown person, I was so happy. So happy. Because a lot of times people of color, we have to look to whoever is the underdog in a story to find somebody to identify with. And not only did we have a hero to identify with, but he was badass. So I just want to say that's awesome. Thank you. Bye.
I agree, and I think that it's really cool. Let me just ask you something about that specific topic. So I know when the movie first came out, the original promotional material said that Finn's father was Lando Calrissian. Like, you can actually look it up, like the original promotional material, and they've since retconned that. Right. And I think that's a great idea because the only two brothers in the Star Wars universe, are not related, and I hope they keep with that. I really do. Because Lando Calrissian should not be related to Finn in any way, shape, or form. If they do that, I may rescind the entire franchise.
I know, Drew, but you are overlooking the fact that Chewbacca is a brother.
I might be.
I believe that. Let me just say this: if Chewbacca shaved it all off, would you still think he's cute?
Look at his nose.
Yeah, the cute nose. I think a great way to I just want to throw this out there. In the promo segment, they all make fun of the fact that the director of Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, can't do a Wookiee noise. I think we should all do a Wookiee noise before we say goodbye.
I don't know about that. Mine's pretty crap.
I think ours all are. I think that's the point. I don't think anyone can do a Wookiee noise. I'll go first just to clear the air. All right.
Well, wait. Oh well.
All right, now you know you're listening to Paranormal Now because things just got really weird, really fast. In a good way. In a good way. Okay, so guys, I'm glad you mentioned that, Drew, because I wanted to ask you about Rian Johnson. Now, he directed the film. Now that it's slipping my mind. Was it Loopers, right? And now he's directing Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Rian Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Homie got the job. Get that money, kid. Get that money.
Do you think that he's gonna?
Look, if you watch that behind the scenes footage, you see they all respect the director. Finn gives him a little crap for not doing the Wookiee thing, but clearly no one else volunteered their Wookiee sound. So I have a feeling that yours were not much better than his. Like, I think the man's on the right track. He continued with practical effects just like JJ did, and they promise a shocking yet real reveal that's going to happen. Carrie Fisher also says that Last Jedi is all about family. That was like the last quote they show, and that little scene that behind the scenes thing. That they basically end with Carrie Fisher saying, it's all about family. This film's all about family. It's going down. It's going down in The Last Jedi.
Mac, do you have anything to say on that?
I think the reason Star Wars wasn't just another pop culture thing to me when I was growing up, and it's resonated with me so long. And
when he was growing up, he's still growing up. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
like, Mac, well done, my friend. I gotta say, I bow down to you. You've done amazing. Continue. Sorry.
But while I'm still growing up, why I love Star Wars so much, and I don't have nearly as deep a love for say Captain America or Marvel or Alien versus Predator, since we're on a sci-fi show, or Ghostbusters, that I do for Star Wars, is because, first of all, there's two main reasons. The first reason is because family, there's nothing more important to me on this entire earth than family, and that's what Star Wars, that's the nucleus of Star Wars. The nucleus of everything that has ever been Star Wars, and every amount of content that will ever be produced by Disney or Marvel, if it's comic books about Star Wars, will always be centered around family and how there's the tragedies and the connections that family weave together, and how powerful familial bonds is, if I used that word correctly.
You did. Well done.
But yeah, that first and foremost, and then second, Star Wars is so expansive. I can't think of another series or saga or anything that has as powerful a following and so much material that I've already stated in the show that I don't think I'll ever be able to know every single thing. Like, it is so It's
a new genre of film. It's a new genre of film.
It's crazy.
You have comic book movies and you have Star Wars movies now. That's the world we live in now.
Pretty much. It's just amazing to me. Like, there's nothing more I'd ever want to do. Like, my life would be complete if there was a way for me to know everything about Star Wars. I wouldn't know what to do, but I know that I think that's why I have such a thirst to learn Star Wars, because I'm in hopes that one day I might prove myself wrong and learn everything about Star Wars.
Maybe feeling complete isn't the journey itself.
Yeah, maybe it's always because I'll never completely know everything about Star Wars, there'll always be that thirst and love and want to learn about Star Wars.
Okay, so I just sent you guys an image. I don't know if you can pull it up right now, but it's the IMDb poster that is posted for The Last Jedi. If you look at this,
I like
poster,
it better than the ones they just released of all the different characters in the red coat. Because all
this
the
is
ones
the
with
best
the characters
so
in the red
far.
coat, it is the best one, because all the ones with the different, you had literally, like, there was one of Finn, there's one of Rey, there's one of Leia, there's one of Andor, all that. Like, they're all in the red. They're in a red coat. Like, basically, their outfit is red. I didn't like how it looked, man. Clearly, basically, all I got from it is something is going to go down in The Last Jedi. Something bad's going to happen. And they're clearly conveying that. I feel like it's a little bit over the top, honestly. It kind of reminded me of, like, a Netflix ad for Daredevil Season 3.
Well, this is touching on what we already discussed before. But Mark Hamilton said Hamilton, not the ice skater. Mark Hamill.
They're both amazing.
Okay. Anyway, Mark Hamill said when he first was approached about this new trilogy, that the storyline that they were going with, he was completely against, until he sat down and talked to them about it, and they convinced him. And then he said, "Wow, this is really powerful," and he was convinced to do it. And then I look at this
Luke's
poster.
Gonna pull something, bro.
Just look at this poster and tell me who looks most angry.
It ain't Kylo. It ain't Ben.
Dude, I so think it's Kylo.
I think Luke looks so angry.
I think what I
see hatred in his eye.
With Luke being a fan of both sides, I think that's gonna play. I think that's gonna play on the day when we go to the theaters and mid-December.
Yeah. I don't know if that's anger. I don't think that's anger. I think that's focus and intention.
You think so? Okay.
Oh, yes.
This is serious intent. But now
he's a very passionate practicer and teacher of his beliefs.
Right.
Keep in mind, it's going to be shocking but real. It's not going to be like, we know that Kylo Ren's a bad guy. We know that Kylo Ren's not going to do something bad. Like that's not going to happen. It's going to be something more extreme than that, because they've teased it. They've teased it so much. It's going to be they can't now go back on their word. And Disney's been good about it. Disney's been good about keeping their word.
Well, also the symbolism here too. I mean, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but you have Rey right in the middle, splitting these two in half, as if she's the balance.
She might be.
I got that.
She very well may be. I love that. I think that's a great way to put it down.
Maybe Luke has learned quite a bit in his research and practice, but maybe he's going to teach her how to balance the dark and the light. Not himself, but teach her.
Hey, hold on a second. I just thought that this kid just came to me. Is Luke Snoke? Is Luke Snoke?
Oh, God. I don't know. Ooh.
Is that going to happen? Is that going to come out?
I don't know.
Hold on. That might be the shocking reveal. I think I just broke it all. I think I just killed the internet. I think I just it out.
How would he look that way, though?
Interesting.
Listen. Luke is
the Wizard Oz effect.
Exactly. He's the Last Jedi. He's the Last Jedi. He can definitely dominate the business. But I do want to say, if that is correct and Luke turns out being Snoke, I do want to give credit to all of you, because I would not have come to that conclusion if it hadn't been for the evidence that you presented to me today in this court of law. Thank you.
What I like about the poster is it's gone back to the original image, which was so evocative. I mean, no movie poster was that cool. And then, the Rebel Alliance symbol, and it's a nice image to come back to. It does have a balance of dark and light, which was always part of the metaphor of the show, sort of, this whole yin-yang freaking...
The mythos.
Yeah, exactly, of the dark and the light. And even if you see at the top, the light from the lightsaber is red. On the bottom, it's blue.
There you go.
See?
Problem solved.
Right,
solved.
exactly, yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's not just one color. It's white light, which is probably a pure saber. They probably went back to, I'm going to say keratin, I know that's not it, to get new lightsaber stuff.
Right, yeah, so she's not just dividing them but in the balance, but the balance is in the color of her lightsaber too.
And inside the Jedi and inside the Master.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, remember in the video, she throws the hood up. So generally, when a Jedi throws the hood up, something's gone down.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Didn't even think about that.
Towards the end of the footage, you see a shot of Rey with the hood up, and that's the first one we've seen with her with the hood up. Something's gone down. Something's gone down in the neighborhood. We're going to see.
It's like at work when you need to go cry in the bathroom.
Hey, Alan.
Wait. Camille, go ahead.
Alan.
Do you take your hood off in the bathroom?
No, when you pull your hood up, when a Jedi pulls their hood up, it's the equivalent of you and I going into the bathroom to cry at work. Just need a minute.
All right, so guys, we have just a few minutes left of the show. Yeah. So if you guys want to get any major points in now, get them in now.
I rescind my
You rescind. Well, you already did your Chewie growl.
I definitely, and I was the only one that did it, by the way. So clearly, it's not just Ryan Johnson. He
did. So now you own that. Yep, you own that.
Three of the four did not present their Wookiee verbalization, if you will.
Hey, Alan.
Well, Mac, go ahead.
Two questions. First question: do you think there's any way that you could get a full Star Wars show at your studio?
What do you mean? Well, this is a 2-hour show, and we're still recording, so I'm not sure.
We are today. It is.
But
today.
This is. I forgot the exact name of the show, but it's like paranormal. Like it covers everything. Like it's not specifically Star. Like it's like a science fiction, like paranormal show. Like it covers everything. I'm sure. I'm not on every week, obviously, but I'm sure every week you have a different topic and discuss different things. But there's
you'd like to do like a regular,
like Collider has Jedi Council, like where they only talk about Star Wars. The entire
I see.
show.
Like you make like a series out of it at some point.
Dude,
we're definitely.
That sounds like something Mac would be brilliant at.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great idea. I mean, we obviously, like I said before, we'll be revisiting Star Wars. We'll be revisiting Star Wars up until and through the next couple of movies, intermittently. But as far as like a regular program, I'm not sure. Let's talk about that later after the show. So I want to ask you guys. How do you feel?
Let it out.
How are you going to deal with seeing Princess Leia? Because I know for me, seeing Carrie Fisher It's going to be rough. I don't even, no matter what the storyline's going to be. There's no doubt that she's had an impact on all of us. So Camille, you touched on that a little bit before, but do you think you'll be able to make it through this movie without kind of losing it and focusing on the story?
I didn't make it through the last one. When I saw spoiler Han, I just was like,
it was beautiful.
They still love me. This is my science fiction family. Like, it was ugly, and people were looking. I didn't care because I was in Brooklyn. But anyway,
I would have given you a hug.
But she, not just the Princess Leia thing. I mean, she was a performer who was the daughter of a performer who my family loved, and her father was somebody that my grandmother bought a record of, and I knew about Carrie Fisher before she was in Star Wars, and to see her turn around and take that step into having her own career was exciting. But then when she had a problem with drugs, as a lot of people did in the 80s, a lot of people had really bad drug problems. She was one of the only people who said, listen, dudes, this sucks. I got lots of mental illness. I'm going to tell you about it. Here's a book. It's going to star Shirley MacLaine.
She kept it real. She kept it real, man. She never lied. She never tiptoed.
So she was like such a seminal point of pop culture. And the thing I loved about her the most was that she was a realist about her struggles with depression and mental illness and electroshock therapy. She was a realist in the way that, people who have to deal with mental illness, specifically suicidal symptoms, you have to deal with the fact that every moment that you're awake is a precious gift, and you have to fight to stay alive.
Yeah,
That's
I will say that the person behind the entertainer was... Yeah, the person behind the entertainer was a humanitarian, and she definitely served a high social service for